His cozying up to dictators, his obsession with Hitler that has now come out, what he has said about our veterans, and what he wants to do with the military against his political adversaries, it's all huge news. This is the future that we're looking at in the next Trump term, if there is one. But this is what voters know right now, that he is killing us. I'm talking about us women. He's killing us. He is putting us at risk. He is making us afraid to have babies. He is putting our reproductive health at risk, and some women have died already because of this. So we can see right now what's coming. These headlines, and very good reporting, by the way, that shouldn't be questioned by idiots about what Trump has said about Hitler, that's incredibly important to know. But I do understand that people who are busy and that are people who are just tapping in may not be able to comprehend, because we've been free. We've been comfortable. We cannot comprehend that. And I understand that. I validate that it is hard to go from here to there. It is where we're going. I hope we don't find out the hard way. But what's happening with women right now is real, and it is playing out across America.
What is she talking about?
She is a nut. She actually sounded like she was in tears.
She was in tears. She looked like she's breaking down. I mean, she's going from here to there. What the hell was she talking about? She had so many things in that clip or whatever. I don't know. Mika needs her meds. Mm-hmm. Mika needs her meds. But I tell you what, Mika, let me give you a little bit more to put you over that little cliff. Garbage never looks so good.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You know, the thing with Mika is, I think what we saw, her emotionalism,
yes,
her kind of falling apart at the seams, is what we're seeing from a lot of Democrats. I mean, when you see this election that they said you'd have in the bag because you have this candidate that checks all these boxes. Well, she's Black-ish, check the box. She's female, check the box. She's from California, check the box. And she's not Joe Biden.
Right.
Most importantly, check the box. We ought to win. Somebody roll out Beyonce, right? It didn't work. It didn't work. What they didn't count on is people having access to real information. Yeah. The fact that she can't complete a sentence without going into a monologue about something nobody asked her about, you know, it makes it hard for regular people to connect.
Right.
So when they see this slipping away, the first thing they roll out is abortion. They're killing women. They're killing women. They're killing women. You know, and it's always women who are well beyond childbearing age, right? Mika, stop fighting for things that you're not going to need, right? Focus in. Focus in, girlfriend. Deliver the news. That's all we got.
Yeah, it's really sad. That was really sad to watch. And she looked demonic.
She looked like
she looked like she was losing it.
Yeah.
She looked crazy.
And, you know, I read into her a little bit. Her dad was from Poland, and he was very much anti-communist. So at the time, he was pushing against communism that was spreading at that point. And it's just interesting for me to see that this lady is now kind of reverting back. Like, she would be happy to put bans on free speech right now. That she would be happy to basically throw away half of the population. And when she's talking about killing women, what is she talking about?
I wrote a little note down because I wanted to address that, to actually bring some information in here. Look me up. Again, fact check me, that's fine. Women are not being killed by Donald Trump and by extension his policies. No, they're not. Let me tell you what the number one killer, if you will, of women is, particularly in the United States. It's heart disease.
Yes.
It's homicide and accidental overdoses combined. But heart disease has been leading number one for men and women. So this idea that abortion or not having access to abortion is an utter lie, okay? You can focus all your resources on abortion and people will still be dying from heart disease, okay? Only a segment of women will be affected by abortion at any given time of the year, of the stats or whatever. But heart disease, which is what we need to do, heart disease can be literally, it's called I forget what the word is, but it's a man-made, if you will, disease in that we have a lot of control over it. Environment we can change our diet, we can change our weight, we can exercise, we can make make better options with our health overall. Those are things that are well within our control that will significantly reduce heart disease, reduce reliance on the pharmaceuticals. And if you need them, you need them. Fine, they're there. But we can reduce that, that impact on the pharmaceutical and medical industry because we have a lot of control over whether or not we can develop heart disease. That's where we need to focus, not on this false God, if you will, or this false idea that women are dying significantly from abortions or they don't have access to abortions.
And when I said that she looked demonic, she really did to me because she seemed
looked like
so distraught that there's a candidate that might prevent killing babies. She was so distraught, like, and it almost makes me think of like child sacrifice. Like someone is not going to get their sacrifice, and they're like, "Oh, that's impossible." You know, how can we not? Yeah.
You know, to your point, Evie, you know, abortion is wholly preventable as well. You know, I don't want to just, you know, whip out a healthcare situation on you, but you know, ladies and gentlemen, it's 2024. It's 2024. And the fact that we still have these clinics that are in minority neighborhoods, if that doesn't speak to you, if it doesn't, go to Potomac and try to get an abortion. No, thank you. No, thank you. Bethesda, no, Capitol Hill, oh, no. But you can come to Baltimore City and have one. North Howard Avenue, happy to have you, right? There is a disparity for people who love to talk about disparity. This is a disparity. They haven't addressed it.
What?
They haven't addressed it. J.D. Vance said it best. We are no longer thinking of ourselves as a pro-life party. We're a pro-family party. We want people to have families. Families are what make a nation whole. Right. We're going to move toward that, and we're hoping that the Democrats will stop all this foolishness about, you know, people killing women and, you know, the streets running red with Democrat blood and all that kind of foolishness. Let's focus in on real issues. The energy that Mika spent this morning having that little meltdown, she could have talked about the economy. She could have talked about, you know, illegal immigration. Some things where she could actually bring something helpful to the conversation. But tears that their candidate is going to lose is not going to be enough.
Well, she needed that blood. She looked so pale.
The bloodlust.
She looked so pale, like there was no
She looked
blood
like she hadn't
left
slept in days. I mean, like, it's on her mind.
She looked like Joe looked on that when he was in front of the laptop.
Yeah, well, they look soulless. That's what
Yes.
it is. It's a
Yes.
soulless look.
Yes.
It's a lack of
Empty.
spirit, a lack
Yes.
of any type of soul. But, you know, again, like you mentioned, Nicole, with the abortion, they lie. We know that many times it's abortion that puts us at risk.
Absolutely.
That's a major surgery. That puts, and again, not only the baby, but the woman at risk. I interviewed a very nice woman on my show a couple of years ago who had taken the abortion pill. It didn't work, and she almost bled out. I mean, this stuff is real, but they don't talk about that. They try to blame everything on, you know, my body, my choice, and all this type of stuff, when it's a dangerous procedure, whether you're doing the actual abortion or if you're doing abortion through the pill, what do they call it? Medical abortion.
Right, chemical abortion.
Chemical abortion, correct. And again, but it's all about the fear mongering. Women are going to die and all this type of stuff, which is nonsense. And now we have one of their own, Eric Adams, mayor of New York, who's coming out and like, stop with the nonsense.
Yeah.
He's
He
on the hit
just
list
came
now.
out on Tuesday, defended NYPD chief's recent appearance at Madison Square Gardens. He dodged questions from reporters on his stance on former President Donald Trump, according to the New York Post. But he did say this: when I'm at these town halls talking to people there, they're not asking me silly questions. He says, we are in this bubble, you know. And he says, stop calling him fascist. Stop it with this talk. It's dangerous.
It is not true.
Yeah, and it's not true. He says, Adams' remarks, which came a week before Election Day, highlighting his growing political alienation as he fights for federal corruption charges, he has said were motivated by his criticisms of the Biden administration. So again, you know, he's even saying, stop it.
Most people, I'm guessing that when they say this, people hear the words fascist and communist. Our surmise, let me tell you why it's not true. First of all, Trump, this is your proof. Trump is advocating for smaller and less government. There's your proof right there. He's not a fascist. Fascists like to join the government with business and, you know, the state and making it bigger and bigger. That is your only proof that you can know that Trump is not the fascist. Who's advocating for more government and to government to do this and the government to regulate? That's their side. That's Kamala Harris and Biden and the Democratic Party. They are the fascists. They are the ones that want to censor social media and come after people, Catholic parents or parents who want to go to school board meetings to advocate on behalf of their children not being sexualized and having them think that they are the opposite sex. Those are the fascists.
Yeah, and not only that, what you mentioned, you know, if people would actually learn history and look up civics,
Say that.
You had them upset about Trump saying he wanted to get rid of the Department of Education and things like that. This is not something a fascist would do.
Exactly.
You know,
He would
fascists
grow it.
want large government.
Exactly.
Exactly. So the fact that he's saying, no, let's get rid of the Department of Justice, let's get rid of the Department of Agriculture or whatever. He's saying these things, that's not something a fascist would do.
Exactly.
Right.
In the totalitarian state, the leader would want to nationalize everything. And be in control of everything. A fascist leader, a dictator, would not get rid of the Department of Education, would not be criticizing different agencies within the government. He would want to expand them. And so it's just ridiculous that they would keep repeating that, because you know, Trump mentioned this at his rally, and I've seen this too. Recently, the Muslims and the Muslim mayor had endorsed Trump.
Right.
Yes.
Michigan.
In Michigan, right.
Okay.
And they tried so hard to paint Trump as racist, as xenophobic, as Islamophobic. And now this is the largest Muslim community in the United States endorsing him.
Right.
So the facts do not align with what the left is trying to say about Trump.
Do you know the reality of the situation is, I would venture, if I'm being very honest, about 60% of the American public has no idea what a fascist is. Right? It's not what we do. It's not how we act. It's not how we behave. But I would dare say 100% of the American public knows that we now have more month than we have paycheck. Right? We have way more month than we have paycheck. When we're talking about running a campaign, you have to focus in on what the voters want, not the message you want to give, but how are you going to make what they want happen? And I think Trump has been tremendous in that. Call me another name. We'll print some T-shirts. You know, you got Shelley over here in her garbage bag. We're going to make fun of you, and it's going to seem silly and trite. But in the meantime, here are my policy points on how I'm going to fix this economy.
Exactly.
Here are my policy points on how we're going to deport these people who are in our country illegally, the people who are doing us harm, raping our children, and doing all these other things. And we're not the only ones. This is not a Trumpian thing when we're talking about illegal migration. This is around the world.
Right.
You know, it's around the world. So this is something, I think, the fallout that we're seeing, the hair pulling and the gnashing of teeth that we're seeing from the Democrats has much more to do with her internal polling numbers.
Oh, I think
and them feeling this election fall through their fingers. Now, with that said, conservatives and Republicans cannot be complacent.
Nope.
Because you know